So, hey class, I'm so happy to be taking you through oral narratives. And as we continue, we're going to continue looking at different types of oral narratives, understand them, and know what they are. We've looked at different types of oral narratives, we've talked about many types, and right now we're going to dig deep and talk about personal narratives. We're going to discuss what personal narratives are, what they entail, what their meaning is, and why we need to understand these cultural narratives. So let's dive deep and look at what personal narratives are. So personal narratives are stories that recount the existence or experiences, memories, and events of an individual's life. So personal means individual. Personal means you, means me, everyone individually. Like it means you as an individual. So these narratives are recounts of experiences, memories, and events of individuals and their life from the past. They are typically told from the first person's perspective and often involve the narrator sharing their thoughts, emotions, and reflection on a particular event or period. Personal narratives can encompass a wide range of topics from autobiographical accounts to personal anecdotes and testimonials. So what do I mean by personal narratives? Here, when you are focusing on personal narratives, you are focusing on you as an individual. You're talking about a specific time that or a specific memory that focuses on you and as an individual. So this will include a wide range of topics. Maybe you want to talk about an event that happened to you or a memory that is crucial or important to you. So by you talking about it or you writing it down, this is what we call a personal narrative. So they're mainly just told from a first person point of view. So mostly you'll hear things like I is a first person perspective. I did this during this time. I went to this. So I would be common when you're talking about personal narratives. So they are individually based. It talks about you as an individual, your memories, events in your life, and you can talk about anything that personally accounts to you. So let's look at the features of these personal narratives. Some features of personal narratives now. First person perspective. Personal narratives are typically told from the I or we perspective, emphasizing the narrator's personal experience and feelings. So majorly when you're talking about a personal narrative, maybe a group of people want to talk about a memory, or a group of singers want to talk about how they started singing to how they became so known or so popular and loved by people. So they will majorly talk about we, or we did this during this time, we. So you will hear a lot of we, and if it's an individual, he will basically talk about himself. So you will hear pronouns like I did this during this time, I went, or this happened. You're majorly focusing on you as a narrator. You're emphasizing on your personal experiences and your personal feeling. So you don't include a second party or a third party. It's just you focusing on yourself and focusing on your memory and telling your story or sharing your story. So personal narratives are basically so direct and they're very easy to understand. And even if you're reading this narrative, you can be able to just understand what you're reading. This is a personal narrative because mostly it talks about a person and their memory, sharing a memory to a certain group of people. Another feature is emotional content. Emotional content. These narratives often include emotional elements. They convey the narrator's thoughts, feelings, and reactions to event. So they have emotional content in a way that a character would choose to talk about a sad memory or some happy memory or a thought or a feeling from the past, and this thought will include a lot of feelings from the person, and a lot of reaction to the events might be a sad one or a happy one. So it depends with the individual story. It's you telling the story, so it's you and your own emotions that you're trying to bring into you're trying to convey a message, or you're trying to remember a memory from the past. So they involve emotional context such as your thoughts and your feelings towards a certain content or a certain aspect as to a memory you're talking about. Another is subjectivity. Another feature is subjectivity. Personal narratives are inherently subjective, reflecting the narrator's unique point of view and interpretation of events. So here it's you giving a story or an account of a memory that is personal to you. So reflecting the narrator's unique point of view and interpretation of events. So there's the subjectivity here is it focuses on you, like you are the subject of the story. So you have your unique viewpoints. You interpret the story the way you want to interpret it because it's your personal story. So if you're talking about an account or an event or a memory that happened to you in the past, you as a narrator, because it's your personal narrative, you have your own unique viewpoint, and that should be okay because it's you telling the story and it's you understanding the story. So here we'll talk about subjectivity. So after looking at the features of personal narrative, we look at the importance. Why is it important? Why should I understand a personal narrative? So self-reflection. Personal narratives provide individuals with an opportunity to self-reflect or opportunity for self-reflection and self-expression. They allow people to make a sense of experience or experiences and emotion. So with personal narratives, you get to be open and reflect on yourself. So here you're having a personal space where you can reflect on yourself, think of the past, and like know the accounts of what happened to you, and try to understand yourself as a person. So there is the ability to reflect on yourself and express yourself in a way that you like, or a way that is personal to you. So this is one importance. It helps in self-reflection and self-expression. Another importance is communication. Personal narratives can be powerful means of communicating. What I mean by powerful means of communicating is they enable individuals to share their stories and connect with others on a personal and emotional level. Now, when you're giving a recount or a memory that is ideal to you, or a memory that is majorly focuses on you, you're able to tell a story to a person, and this person may be able to reflect on the story or try to connect with your story. And this means that you're connecting on a personal level or an emotional level. So the purpose of and one importance of sharing a personal narrative is communicating. You're trying to pass an information, you're trying to pass an event or a memory that happened to you. So they enable people to communicate and share ideas or talk to each other. Let's move on to another importance is preservation of personal history. Everyone has their personal history. Everyone has their personal story to tell. Everyone has a personal narration to tell. So personal narratives serve as a way to preserve personal histories, memories, and perspectives for oneself and future generation. So for example, there's a memory that is so dear to you, or a memory that you want to share with the people, or a memory that you feel you should share to a group of people. So this is the importance of personal narrative, is that it will help you preserve your narrative so that you can tell your future generation, or preserve your memories and perspectives for yourself and also for the future generation. This means that you are at liberty to share if you want, share your idea if you want, or if you don't want, you can also not share. So you're keeping the memory to yourself, or trying to educate other people from your own memory or from your own experiences. You're trying to educate the future generation. So this is one importance of personal narratives. Now, how can we recognize a personal narratives? Or how can we recognize a personal narratives? How can you tell that this is a personal narrative? So here is how we can tell a personal narratives. How can we recognize a personal narrative? So the first person perspective. Look for the use of first person pronouns like I, me, or we. Personal narratives usually are told from the perspective of the first person experience. So you will talk about you did this, I went here, or if it's a group of people you're trying to give a memory that happened to you, you talk about we. So there's a first person perspective, and this is a common feature that you can't miss when you want to understand personal narratives. You can't miss this feature, because in a way you're trying to connect to the people and make people understand your memory or understand your experience. So you use the first person pronoun, and their personal narratives are usually told in the perspective of the person, or the person who is involved in the experience or the memory. Another way to recognize them is emotional expression. emotional expression. Personal narratives often convey emotional and feelings, allowing readers to listen or listeners to connect to the narrator's experience on an emotional level. Like I said, a memory is dear to you, or you're trying to focus on a certain memory or experience that happened to you in the past. You're bringing your emotion when you're talking, you're bringing your feelings when you're talking. So through this, your readers or your listeners are able to connect with your story and connect your experiences on a personal level and also an emotional level. So this is one way to recognize a personal narrative. Another one is personal reflection is another feature or another way to recognize these narratives. These narratives may include reflection on the significance of the events or impact they had on a narrator's life. So here you're talking about your personal reflection, and this its significance or this event's impact is basically measuring on you and your life. You're narrating your life. You're talking about a memory on your personal level. So you don't need another person to try to tell you about your memory. So it doesn't include a third party or a second party again. It's your personal reflection or your personal story. You're trying to share your story to the people. So you personally talk about this and share your story out there. So after looking at this, how to recognize the personal stories, we look at some examples here of personal stories. Let's look at some examples of personal stories. So autobiographies. What is an autobiography? Basically, an autobiography is a story that these are stories or they are reflections of a person. So you write your own story. So the idea of writing your own story is called autobiography. But the opposite of this is the opposite of autobiography is biography. So biographies are personal stories that are written about a certain people by other people. So for example, I might write a biography about my mother, or biography about the president of a certain country. So I'm writing their story, but they're not necessarily my story. So this is an example of a personal narrative, the autobiography. So autobiographies such as The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, or The Long Hard Road Out of Hell by Marlene Mason. I know most of you, maybe you haven't heard of these examples, but I'm just giving examples. And if you have time, you can go look at this, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, or even have a look at The Long Hard Road Out of Hell by Marilyn Manson. These are very good autobiographies. So they are personal narratives that provide detailed accounts of an individual's life experiences and perspectives. Now, these autobiographies, they're individually written by these people. So class, if you have time again, I'd want you to look at this, go learn what they are and understand what they are. So this is important if you want to understand what personal narratives are. So basically, personal narratives, one thing you have to understand that we talked about is that they are dear to you. They majorly talk about you as a person. Now, another type of narrative that we look at now is the memoirs. What are memoirs? So memoirs are like Angel Ashes by Frank. This is another type of this is another type of personal narrative, memoirs. This is an example of a personal narrative. So these are narratives that focus on a specific period or themes in a person's life or a reflection of insight. So memoirs basically are accounts of a specific theme in a person's life. For example, you're talking about love. You want to talk about love. So your book or your biography will measure on love, but it's your personal life or your personal idea here. Another example is personal essays. Personal essays, we know they are journals, short personal narratives, or topics or experiences of an author. So they are personal essays. They are like your journal or your personal essays on a particular topic. So to conclude, these personal narratives offer a window into the lives, thoughts, and emotion of an individual. So you're able to talk about or understand an individual's life. So they play a crucial role in literature, self-expression, and sharing of human experiences. So this is majorly what personal narratives are. So they foster empathy and understanding. You understand a personal lifestyle or what a person has been through in the past. You're able to connect to the person. So in conclusion, they give a window to someone's life. You understand them emotionally as an individual and you're able to connect with them too.